I went to the big cattle call in the arena. You sit there for 8 hours, and then you go into some room with 9 other people, and you walk up. It's not even in front of the celebrity judges. It's like the pre, and I didn't even make it past that.
Yeah.
And I think back to if I would have gotten on that show at that point, one, I wouldn't have been ready, and then two, none of this would have happened. I would have never got Sun Records, and who knows.
Drake Milligan, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Howdy.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good.
I haven't had anybody say howdy to me for quite a while, so that's a big deal to me. First things first, I know you're here for C2C this time round, but I have to say, I caught you last time, and it was, I think, a mid-afternoon session. You know the thing, as a fan or as a punter to the shows, there are so many acts playing different stages, especially during the day, and you're trying to figure out who do I go and see and who am I going to miss, that kind of way. So we came along to see you, and I'm not just saying this, but you blew the place apart.
Yeah.
And because it was an afternoon show, it felt like, this was a late night. You had everybody up. Yeah. I mean, they were going mad. So that must have been really gratifying for you,
It was cool, and that was our first ever set, across the pond. That was our first set of it was early in the week too. I think it was on like Thursday, maybe, and it was just like, it was electric. I mean, we felt it. Big 45-minute set, and we kind of got off stage and go, oh man, is that what all the crowds are going to be like here? That's like, and so far it kind of has been. It's been crazy, and then the word got around. It's been cool to see how there's that really kind of word of mouth here that really does spread, and man, it's showing.
Well, there are artists who would love that reaction or reception from an audience. 10 years in doing the gigs around the UK, and yet, like you say, that was your first one. I mean, that's some going.
Well, it was cool to see. I mean, there were so many people that had seen me on America's Got Talent and knew those songs, and then dove in. I was surprised to see people singing along to what I consider, album cuts. Even at that first show, people singing along to songs I thought maybe nobody would know, and then people who didn't know me there, became fans afterwards. So it was cool to see. Well,
just remind, as you mentioned it, America's Got Talent, because for people who don't know, that's how you broke through initially. Mm-hmm. And wasn't there a bit of a recap on that recently? Were you involved in a show?
One of their spin-off shows, AGT Fantasy League.
All right.
Yeah, it was all past contestants, winners. It was like everybody, just the biggest of the biggest of AGT. So it was cool to be on that show. And it was fun because the judges had their teams. I was Team Howie, A lot of competition going on between everybody, especially Simon. He was very competitive on that show. So, but it was a lot of fun just kind of see everybody and kind of make a victory lap, if you will, even though I didn't win. But,
but just to go back again and revisit, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got so much going on at the moment. I know Jukebox Songs EP is just come out. Are you planning a full album at some point?
Well, I'm always planning on an album. 4 songs is not enough for me. I can tell you that. We wanted to get this out quick, and we found these 4 songs we were excited about and decided to record them, get it out there. But I mean, I've been in Nashville now, I guess 6 or 7 years, and really, I mean, that whole first record, that Dallas-Fort Worth record, double up record, was done. All those songs were written before, the middle of 2020. So, and that record came out in 22, and you think about all the songs I've written since then and found and I'm ready to go cut another record. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, when you mention those dates, and some of them are quite a while ago now, far be it from me to say, but come on, get on with it, Drake, will you? Because we're waiting for more stuff. Yeah. That's for sure. I've got to say as well, there's been a spate of Elvis movies over the last little while, but you got in there first. How was that?
It was awesome, and I've been an Elvis fan since I was 7 years old. And I discovered Elvis through an Elvis impersonator back at, totally by accident. Was out eating with my family, and there was an Elvis impersonator there. He had the big jumpsuit. He was I was still friends with him. His name's Carlin Hurdle, and he's about 6'8", has the beautiful big jumpsuits. And I just thought, what is this? And went home and started watching every Elvis video I can, and just kind of studied Elvis for a lot of years. And then, so to get that role, and I got casted in Sun Records when I was 17. I was still in high school, and through an open call audition, me and my mom drove up. We found out on Facebook about these open call audition for this TV show, and I thought, well, why not? And we drove up, and I had to kind of fight my way in there. They didn't want to. I was too young to really audition, and fought my way in there still, and then got a call 2 weeks later that I had the part and left high school. And I was applied to college. I was I kind of just said, hey, I'm going to treat this as my college experience. And I went and did that show. And yeah, I mean, it definitely changed my life. I think that was really my, breaking point as far as kind of getting my foot in the door, especially in Nashville. And then, yeah, a number of years then, and then went to Nashville and started putting the work in. And then a number of years later, got AGT. And
isn't it amazing, though? You mentioned that chance encounter, and then, you chased it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't have done that, I mean, the way we all have these points, pivots in our lives but that was clearly a major one for you, and then it set you off. But doesn't it make you wonder sometimes if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be here? And
it makes me wonder every little thing, the things that happen that, you don't, I auditioned for The Voice, I think when I was probably 15 or 16. And I mean, I didn't even make it past. I went to the big cattle call in the arena. You sit there for 8 hours, and then you go into some room with 9 other people, and you walk up. It's not even in front of the, celebrity judges. It's like the pre. And I didn't even make it past that.
Yeah.
And I think back to if I would have gotten on that show at that point, one, I wouldn't have been ready. And then two, none of this would have happened. I would have never got Sun Records, and who knows?
Well, for people watching this and listening as well, who may want to be the next Drake Milligan, and they want to pursue a career. Obviously, you've got to be persistent for sure. Would that be your number one piece of advice to them?
I would say be persistent and be collaborative too. I mean, I've really leaned on the people that I work with, songwriting especially. And in the studio, and just get out there and meet some people and trust your intuition about them, and yeah, I mean, I just really love the collaborative process, especially in music.
Yeah.
I lean on my co-writers a lot. I'll hardly finish a song by myself. I'll start it out, and then I'll think, all right, who could write this song better than I could? And I'm lucky enough to know a lot of great songwriters in Nashville, and I'll call up a friend and be like, hey, I got this idea, let's write it together. So, I lean on that a lot, and I think that's a good thing to do.
That's interesting because, some artists might be a little precious. This is my song. Nobody's going to tell me what you're doing the opposite. You're getting the polish on top, or did I miss something? That's a clever move.
Well, it is, and you just got to understand. I mean, there's so many great songwriters and musicians in Nashville. You got to understand when people are better than you, and you're gonna some of that's gonna rub off on you. You're gonna get better through that. You're gonna learn from them, and I think that's important. And it kind of opens up. I've found with songs, sometimes I'll be so set on an idea, and I'll bring it into a songwriter, and they totally change it, and I go, I never would have thought of that in a million years, but it is better. So.
Well, that's refreshing to hear that, because you don't always hear that. Now, we're really looking forward to seeing you and experiencing you over the weekend for C2C, and you're going to be hopping all around the place. But then you're coming back in your own right, solo tour in July?
In July, yeah, our first run of club shows, which are, by the way, going nuts right now. Tickets went on sale this past week, and we've already upgraded. We added a show here in London, and we've upgraded both Manchester and Glasgow, upgraded the venues. We upgraded Manchester twice. So we sold out the first one, upgraded it, and then it quickly sold out. So we were like, all right, let's upgrade it again. So the response has been incredible.
Well, it's nice to know. We started the conversation about your previous C2C performance. It's nice to know that wasn't a fluke. There is huge demand out there for you. But that must be so encouraging, isn't it?
It is. And it's cool to see. I mean, I just love the audiences here seem to really appreciate, as I do, the more traditional side of country music too.
Yeah.
Which I really kind of try to carry that torch and still try to make it, I call my thing kind of old school in a new way. And people here seem to really appreciate that. And in a way that I haven't seen a whole lot of other places other than Texas. They really appreciate that back home in Texas.
Oh, wow. No, that's absolutely amazing. Well, listen, best of luck. Let us know about the album when it comes. Maybe you'll swing by again in July if you've got time. That'd be great. And best of luck this weekend as well.
Thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure.